Happy Wednesday, everyone. Happy November. Wednesday, why did I say Wednesday? It's Monday. I don't even know what day it is. It's Monday. Just making sure you're awake. Glad to have everyone joining me today. We'll get started here in just about 30 seconds. We'll let everybody get joined in, and then we'll get the show on the road. Getting closer to getting everybody in. Wonderful, wonderful. Love to see such a big crowd. Another group coming in. Very good, very good. Just a few more seconds. Let everybody in. All right, wonderful. Well, hello and welcome. Happy November. Glad to see everyone today. My name is Monty Wyatt, and I'm so glad you've chosen to join me today. And I wanted to welcome you to our topic of organizational development and making sure that you're equipped to help CEOs and executives in today's crazy world that we have going on. So I do want to introduce myself. Again, my name is Monty Wyatt. I'm CEO of Adding Zeros. And just a little bit of history. Adding Zeros came about around 4 years ago when my co-author and I, Brad Sugars, wrote the book, Pulling Profits Out of a Hat. And we'll share more about that later. But my whole goal today is to help you bring clarity to how you're helping your clients and your own businesses. So again, just to introduce myself, I like to introduce myself by sharing my two passions. And my number one passion is my family. Always love to show off my wonderful girls. On the left is my oldest, Katie. She's a sophomore at Iowa State University. In the center is a senior in high school. That's Allison. She is a swimmer. She just this weekend made it to the state swim meet, the high school state swim meet in 3 events. And on the right is my youngest daughter, Janie, and she's a diver. Her season is over, but she did a great job this year as her first year as a diver. I share that they're my number one passion because in my previous life, I spent 14 years in the agricultural chemical world. And during that time, I traveled about 80% of my time. And I helped a lot of people, but it kept me away from this passion. So 16 years ago, I left that life and started working with CEOs and executive teams. And that really leads to my second passion, is helping others succeed. Not only have I been working with CEOs and executive teams for 16 years, but prior to that, I was a sales trainer. I was a sales manager, a marketing manager, and everything that I did was helping people see things in a different light so we can get a greater outcome, a greater result. And that's exactly what we are doing here today, is giving you some tools to help you be successful with CEOs and executive teams. And so I want to make sure that you're taking great notes today. You've got some great thoughts that are going to come out that you're going to be able to use immediately. And secondly, just a reminder that this video, the video of today's webinar will be emailed out to you. A link will be emailed out so you can make sure that you are able to go back and watch some of this again. So just want to make sure we've got everybody in here that's here. Perfect. All right. You know, as I started off, our topic today is organizational development. And as I say that phrase, I want you to think about how we are developing the whole organization. And I want to even add to that, it's organizational discipline that we have to create. So when we go to help CEOs and executives, it's not just about helping one person. We're helping the whole organization bring clarity to how we do things. And that's how I want to start this process, is I want to share with you how I help folks. And I say it just as that, is I bring clarity to how CEOs and executive teams lead and manage their organizations. And in doing that, I equip these CEOs and executives so they are creating organizational development and discipline into their businesses. And when I think of developing an organization, you know, I said as organizational development, but when we build the executive team, we build the organization. So we have to balance that approach of organizational development and executive development. A couple more people come in. All right. So I want to share with you today. We've got 3 topics that I'm going to put energy into. Number 1 is leadership and management and what the difference is and how this is more important than ever before today. The second topic is the discipline that organizations need to be successful right now. That's a powerful thing, is that phrase of discipline. And that's what we've got to make sure that we're helping our clients with in their organizations. The third topic is I want to give you an opportunity to learn more about this discipline, about this leadership and management process that I'm going to share with you, because it's powerful and I want you to be able to not only use it in your organization, but with your clients and every one of your prospects that you have out there today. So I want to start with the topic of leadership and management. You know, I said this a second ago. I really believe that leadership and management are needed more than ever, but there is an issue. The world has mistakenly verbalized leadership and management as the same thing. They are absolutely not the same, and they have 2 major impacts into organizations. And our role as coaches, as executive coaches, as business coaches, have to help our clients understand the difference in behaviors and in management of an organization and of ourselves. So we're going to define these and give you some great examples. So the first thing I want to share is my definition. In my best-selling book, Pulling Profits Out of a Hat, I define leadership and management very clearly. Leadership is about creating passionate and focused team members. Management is about creating competent and productive team members. Now, I want you to let that sink in, because that might be slightly different than maybe how you thought about it, and probably is very different than how your clients think about it. They think of management as a role. I have to do this instead of a responsibility. The responsibility of a manager is to ensure that their team members that report to them are competent in doing their job and they're productive in the results that they're after. As a leader, you have to create passion and focus. You don't have to be a manager to be a great leader. Both of these are needed more than ever because there is uncertainty in the world. There's challenges in the world that we have to make sure that we are helping our clients work through these. And so I want to add a little twist to this definition. And the first piece is leadership brings positive emotion. Think about that. With all the challenges going on, a great leader brings positive emotion into everything that's going on. Whether we're overcoming a challenge or we're working through a project, we have to have that positive emotion. Management brings logic and results. These 2 points have to be balanced. We have to balance leadership and management. And I'm going to say this a couple times because I think it's powerful. Management is what we do. Leadership is how we do it. So we've got to have that positive emotion, but we've also got to have results. We've got to have logic to it. And so I want to give you some examples of behaviors of each leadership and management here, because it's about creating I'll call them routines or habits or disciplines around leadership and management every single day. So when I think of leadership, number 1 that comes out is communication. We have to be clear in our communication. We have to be proactive in our communication. We have to make sure we're understanding the other party's needs and wants. That's what a great leader does, is they communicate clearly and understands the other party. When we think of leadership, a leader is also teaching others how to think. If we as a manager are expecting everyone to come to us to get the answers. We are not teaching them how to think. In today's world, managers don't have the time to tell everybody what to do, but we can teach them how to think. We do that by asking them questions, by challenging their thought process, exposing them to new insights to help them understand and to help them bring clarity to the topics that are at hand. So leaders communicate clearly, they teach others to think, but they also adjust with speed. And I do think today, in many cases, we have to move a little faster. We have to move a little quicker around that corner in that decision making. I would venture to guess in the last 6 months, every business out there has made decisions much faster than they ever have before, just because of COVID and examples that they've been exposed to. So a great leader adjusts with speed. We take action to get to a place because that's a piece of emotion. Think about this. If you're wanting to take action and nobody's moving it, we have negative emotion. We've got to lead with action and speed. Another piece of leadership, and I want to spend a couple minutes here. Leadership has an attitude of big picture and abundance. Here's what I mean by an attitude of big picture. Everything is connected. No matter what one employee is doing, they're connected to what another employee is doing because they're both after the same outcome. As a leader, you have to help others see how everything is connected. That's the big picture. Another piece of big picture is, why are we doing what we're doing? Because of the impact that we're making. So everyone in an organization should understand that piece of it is what is the big picture. And we as leaders, and as we're teaching leadership, helping people really see that big picture. The second point there, an attitude of abundance. Let me define it here. Scarcity is there's not enough. Abundance, there's more than enough. An attitude of abundance says, how can we? Most organizations, they hit a roadblock. They say, well, we can't do it. Don't know how we get there. We don't have the funding. We can't do whatever it might be. An attitude of abundance stops and asks the question, well, how can we get to that result? Hey, we know we don't have this over here, but how can we get to that? How can we get there? What do we need and what action needs to be taken? A leader has that type of attitude of tying everything together in the big picture and making sure that we are thinking abundantly and not of scarcity. I really think that the world today, in a majority of the percentage of the population, they think with scarcity. And the media can teach us that, others can teach us that. We have to teach our clients, our CEOs and executives to think with abundance. That's the power of leadership. So these points right here, as you think about your clients or your network, your prospects that you want to go after, these are the things that you can help teach them so they become a greater leader today. We need more leaders today more than ever. Now I want to go to that second point. We not only need leaders more than ever before, we need managers. We need managers more than ever before. So what I mean by management, again, leadership is creating passionate and focused team members. Management is creating competent and productive team members. Okay, so when I think about management, number one piece of management is alignment. Alignment to me is all about making sure we are all on the same page. So if I'm a manager, if I'm the CEO, or I'm a vice president, whatever executive title that I might have, one of my responsibilities is to ensure that every one of my team members is focused on the right thing. What are our priorities? Are we focused on the right results that we're working down the path towards? Are we all in alignment on what we're willing to do or not do? That is a piece of management. And so many times, executive teams especially are not aligned because they're living in silos. Today, every organization has to be aligned. That is a function of management. Another piece of management is creating the right focus. I used the word priorities a second ago. That's what I mean is when you have the right priorities, you are focused. And I'm a believer in 90-day priorities as an organization. We should have annual priorities, but then get them more specific to this 90-day period. What are the priorities? What's the focus in this time period to ensure that we are making the right progress at the right time in the right direction? That's a management function. You know, so many times you hear a manager, you ask them, what's your management philosophy? Oh, I let my team do what they want. I'm here to support them. Well, support is actually absolutely correct, but allowing them to do what they want with no management, that's not good management. That is making sure that they are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Nobody wants to be a micromanager because they don't know how to actually be a manager. So this point here of follow through, that is a great trait of management. And getting commitments. When I think of follow through, in order to create accountability and follow through, you first actually have to get them to commit to something. Get them to commit to a timeline, a benchmark, a specific result that they're after. Our job as a management and our job in teaching our clients to be better managers is what is that follow through rhythm? Maybe that's a weekly one-on-one. Maybe it's twice a month one-on-one. Maybe it's a team meeting that there's updates. Maybe it's managing through a process of green, yellow, and red. Green, you're on track. Yellow, you're a little behind. Red, there's no way you're going to meet the date. You need to have a follow-through process. That's what great management does. And if we do not have follow-through, we're not creating productive people. That's the power of what management needs to have. You know, this last bullet here regarding management is about organizational discipline. Every organization should define how do we want our management to behave? How do we want our management to follow through? And too many times it's all over the board. We know that we need to have this communication and that communication, but we're not consistent. That's why I call it organizational discipline. So it is consistent. So this teaching right here is for your CEOs. They have to teach their team, and we can support them with that. But to have organizational discipline, that's a CEO's responsibility. Organizationally, we have to be consistent. That's the area of accountability for a CEO. That's their function of management. So again, I want to put it this way. Leadership creates passionate and focused people. Management creates competent and productive people. And today, every one of us has clients that has to increase their leadership behavior, the how they do things. At the same time, they have to increase their management behavior, the what they do, so we can get the results that are needed for their organization. So part of this organizational discipline, I want to go deep into two different areas of disciplines. I'm going to share with you a total of 5, but we're going to go deeper into 2 today, because this is the power of what we can do for clients is giving them the tool. As a coach, we have to have the tools that help them best to get the results that they want. There's so much challenge today, people working remotely, people in fear of different things, economy, elections, COVID, you name it. We have to create some discipline so we are still moving the business forward, even though we're not working in the same office, or maybe we are working in the same office, we're just not aligned. So I want to introduce you to 2 disciplines. The first one I want to share is business development. Now, I want you to think of business development and think of a client that you have and think about how predictable they are as a business. When I think of predictability, they've got to have some things happen consistently all the time. And the 3 areas of business development that needs to be predictable are marketing, sales, and customer service. Marketing is about attracting customers. Sales is about converting them. And customer service is about keeping them. And we have to help our clients make sure that they're doing all three of these. Now, I want to go a little bit deeper because today, business development may need to change. We may need to change it because of economy changes, COVID needs, whatever it might be. And I want to state it this way, that we first have to ensure in business development who the right core customer is. And when I say the right core customer, it's who is going to buy from us over and over again. That's the core customer that we want, that we can be most profitable with as a core customer. Now, not 100% of your business is going to fall into that core customer, but that's where your most profitable business should be. That second point there of emotions and needs, I think they're changing as well. We have to help our clients identify and understand the emotions and needs of their customer, because marketing helps us communicate clearly of how we can help them through emotions and needs. And in your sales process or their sales process to get that new customer, they have to use those emotions and needs to get to that next step. So if we don't have clarity on the core customer, or again, maybe because of the world today, the core customer needs to be adjusted, let's get clear on their emotions and needs. Once we understand their emotions and needs, we have to be clear on what we're promising them. And I'm saying that very clearly. When we decide to promise something to a customer, then we have to change everything in the organization to ensure that that promise is fulfilled. And I want to say that again, because this is not a guarantee. This is a promise. To me, this is much more professional. This is more specific. I promise you, Mr. Customer, A, B, and C. I'm a believer in 3 promises. And so every business needs to be clear, what are we promising this core customer based on their emotions and needs? And do we have every process in place, or everything inside the organization in a place where they can fulfill those promises? That is what's going to separate businesses from their competition, is that clarity of their promise and how they're fulfilling it. So business development, it helps us create predictability, but the baseline is we've got to be clear on our core customer, and it's about psychographics and demographics, more about psychographics, which leads to that emotion and need that they have, and then identify what are the promises as an organization we're choosing to fulfill. So to me, this is about this marketing and sales component of business development. I want to go to that third component of business development, which is customer service. And, you know, customer service can be portrayed as the complaint department. I want to view it that every person in the organization supports the customer. So we all should have some skills in customer service. And I want to give an example here, and I want to call it customer loyalty standards. No one likes rules and regulations or policy, but everyone will live up to a standard. Heartland Co-op is a 85 location client of mine. And one of the things that when we started working together 3.5 years ago, they said, we want help with customer service. I went much deeper. Yep, they did have challenge with customer service, but their culture wasn't clear. Their goal setting wasn't clear. Their management and leadership were ineffective. And when we finally did get to talking about customer service, we identified standards that we want every employee and team member to live by. And again, standards, different phrasing than rules or regulation. A standard is how we want everyone to live. So they identified through this process that they wanted to treat their customers great, G-R-E-A-T. So their acronym for customer loyalty standards was GREAT. Excuse me. GREAT stands for, the G is greet, R is relate, E is engage, A is act, and T is thank. Now, I will tell you that there are 35 mid-management members, mid-management of this company created this. We're all in this room. We have great up on the board, along with 50 words. And somebody says, well, aren't those things common sense? They are common sense, but we're not doing them. So great is now on a clear document behind every counter at each of the 85 locations. We went and took them through training on how to do each one of those steps, because those are the standards that everyone needs to be living by. Now, these aren't just to the external customers. The finance team also has to treat their internal customers great as well. You know, so that's a powerful thing, but this is reinforced. This is a piece of leadership and management. Leadership creates passion about standards of how we're going to treat our customer or interact with them. Management is making sure that we are competent to fulfill those great standards. Are we greeting them like they're a long lost friend with smiles on our face? Are we relating to them and engaging with them? And are we acting on their needs and then thanking them? Yep, those can be some simple things, but if they aren't consistent, we can't predict the future. So as I think again about business development, this is about predictability of our future business. We've got great marketing going after the right core customer, and we're promising the things that we know will be differentiating to us that we are going to fulfill. And that's customer service. It's making it about loyalty. We want loyalty, not just satisfied customers. We want them to come back time and time again. So just as I've mentioned, business development as a discipline creates greater predictability for an organization. That was the first discipline I wanted to talk through. The second one is strategy. Oftentimes, people are confused of what strategy is. Most of the time, they think their tactics are strategy. Strategy is much at a higher level of what are we trying to accomplish and how are we getting there to build a sustainable business. Strategy is about how are we building a sustainable business. There are 4 components that every business has to answer to be clear on their strategy of success for the long term. Here are those 4, and I want to share with them a little insight on each one of them just briefly. Number 1, opportunity. Opportunity is clearly defining the need or demand in the market that we are choosing to fill. Think about that. As the baseline of every company, we have to be clear, what is the opportunity in the marketplace that we're choosing to fill? The opportunity is not to go sell more. The opportunity is what is the need or demand in the market that we are choosing to fill. By answering that question, that helps us identify, is the market big enough? Is the market, are they willing to invest in what we're wanting to sell them? So we have to be clear on what that opportunity is. I've got clients where they've taken that all the way to a 1 sentence. So the opportunity is so clear that they're able to explain it to every employee. The second point of leverage. Leverage is about doing more with less, whether it's creating efficiencies. And efficiencies can come in process, can come in finances, can come in leverage through money. They can come in leverage through intellectual property. What is our point of leverage? Now, just think about this. In the last 8 months, because of COVID, Zoom and GoToMeeting have absolutely gone through the roof, right? Everybody's using them because they have great leverage. Everyone around the world, no matter what language they are using that type of technology. That is leverage. It can also be scalability. Now, scalability is defined as you can duplicate or expand in another market. If I'm in Des Moines, Iowa, and if I say I want to go to Illinois or I want to go to another country, can I duplicate what I'm doing in this city into another country or another region easily? That's scalability. And if the answer is no, then the question is, what do we need to do to scale? That is getting processes, training, systems. Too many businesses are reliant on one or two people on decisions or how to do things, so they are not scalable. The fourth component here of strategy is marketability. Marketability is really twofold here. One is the ease to get in front of your core customer. How easy is it to get in front of your core customer? Now, a piece of this can be, is the market big enough? One of our webinars, I had a question from one person, and they were really focused on a certain segment, women business owners. Nothing wrong with that, but my question to her was, how many women business owners in your geography? And there were less than 250 businesses in that geography that were women owned. And I said, is that a big enough market for your product and service, or to get you the lifestyle or business that you desire? So marketability is about getting clarity of the ease to get in front of that core customer. The second piece of marketability is the ease of sharing what you do with others and making sure that it's easily understood. Too many times businesses have a great product. I've connected with a gentleman on LinkedIn this week, and we actually had a phone conversation. And he said, I'd love to partner with you. And I said, well, I don't know much about what you do, so do you have a one-page flyer that I can use to share with my network? And what he sent me did not tell me what he did. It wasn't easily communicated to me. So a part of marketability is not only the ease of getting in front of that audience, but the ease of communicating what you do so that core customer can be attracted to you. Now, to go a little bit deeper into strategy, once you have answered these four questions, and again, they can be yes or no, or we can go that we need to put these things in place. But the real question is, what is our one-sentence strategy? I'm a believer of less is more. If you can say it in 5 words, then say it in 5 words. Don't take 30. But the fewer words that we can say something in, the better we understand it. So one of the concepts that I think is very powerful and needed today in strategy is having an executive team and helping that executive team define their strategy in one sentence. Now, the critical thing about a strategy, it's how we're going to win. And I want to share an example of Southwest Airlines. And this is in a book that's about them. And their one-sentence strategy is actually 2 words: wheels up. Now think about that. If you're the management team and our strategy of how we're going to win is wheels up, what does that mean? It means that I want every employee to know that if we aren't having airplanes in the air, we aren't making money. So no matter if you're a repair person, you're a mechanic, or you're checking in people to get on the plane, I have to do it efficiently and effectively, because we're not making money unless planes are in the air. We have to have efficient turnarounds. A critical point of a one-sentence strategy, it defines how we will win. Now, this isn't just like a sporting event where it's a one-time win. We have to win every single year. But this is about how we're going to win long-term. We will win long-term as Southwest Airlines by having wheels up, and every employee knows their part. Too many organizations, their employees don't know how they impact the true success of their organization. So this one-sentence strategy is a powerful thing. In order to help get to that, you do have to answer those first four bullets that we just went through: opportunity, leverage, scalability, and marketability. That's the foundation of a strategy. When we have a great strategy, your business, your client's business becomes more sustainable. That is the power of a great strategy. And too many times organizations, well, we haven't had time, we don't know what our strategy is. it's time to create one, especially today. Maybe it's reviewing their strategy and let's bring more clarity to it. Or maybe it is just defining what our strategy needs to be to succeed long term. There are businesses doing very, very well in today's economy because they've got clarity of their strategy, or maybe they've adapted to the marketplace and the needs of that customer that they've chosen to fill. So those are two of the disciplines, business development and strategy. And I really want you to capture this. I believe a great business is one that is sustainable, predictable, stable, consistent, and has an emotional connection. Now, I want you to think about this, and I want you to think of this as a CEO and executive team as well. If I'm a CEO, my objective isn't just to get a big bonus this year. My objective is long-term. Sustainable means that the business will outlast me. Sustainable means that the business will be here longer than everyone in it today. And we have to make the right decisions today to ensure that happens. A great business is predictable. We know when we do certain things, we're going to keep our customers. We know when we market things, we're going to get new customers. I don't know about you, but this has been 2 weeks ago. I got an email from Apple. The Apple iPhone 12 is available. I guarantee they sold millions that day because they knew every time they send out that email saying they've got a brand new product, they get a certain % response. That's helping your business become predictable. Stable. Stable is all about your people and your team. We want to have high retention of our team members. That creates stability. If you've got high turnover and you got customers calling, they get frustrated because they can't talk to the same person each time if they've built a relationship. So you've got to have stability with your team. A great business is also consistent. No matter if it's internal or external, we all want to know what to expect. I've shared this example before. I've been probably in 5 or 6 different countries around the world, and I think I've eaten at a McDonald's in every one of those countries. Why would I do that? Because I know what to expect. I know what to expect. It's consistent. Consistency is about how we execute. It's about our processes. It's about how we train our employees to do certain things, but it's also consistency in our financials. When we're consistent as an organization, it's powerful for the long term. The last piece of a great business, it's that they have an emotional connection, again, internally and externally. When we have an emotional connection internally, I love who I work for. I enjoy what we believe in and how we behave and who we are. That's an emotional connection. Externally, an emotional connection, because if I'm a customer, I love what that company is doing in our community. I love what that organization is doing to support me as a customer. That's an emotional connection. So a great business is sustainable, long-term, predictable. We know where our future business is coming from. Stable, we have high retention of employees. Consistent, we have consistent in our financials, but also in our processes and how we treat people. And it has an emotional connection. People love who we are and what we're about and why we do what we do. You know, I want to add a new phrase to this conversation. It's adding zeros. That great business adds zeros, not just in revenue and profits. Yes, we want to add zeros in revenues and profits, but we have to think sustainably and long term. So we want to add zeros in longevity of the company, employee engagement, employee retention, customer retention. We have to add zeros in every aspect of the business. That's where we're helping become and create great businesses. We have to think differently. When we talk to CEOs and executives, we have to help them see the big picture. It's not just about the financials today, it's about long-term business. So I want to add one more component to it, or excuse me, the next component is all of the disciplines. I shared with you strategy and business development, but there are 5 disciplines that adding zeros really focuses on. And it's in exponential growth of every area, not just revenue and profit. It's in every area of the business. So the 5 disciplines are strategy, business development, people, execution, and mission. And I just want to touch briefly on each of those because they support that definition very clearly. But those disciplines also satisfy 5 constituents. Now, before I give you those 5 constituents, I want to give you a little insight here. As you think about the publicly traded companies, they're all about return on shareholder investment. As a great company, you have to be satisfying a lot of people and balancing all 5. And we really can't truly grow as much as we want if we aren't satisfying all 5 constituents. So I want to introduce them to you. They are the company, the customers, the team, our stakeholders, and the community. The company is a constituent by itself. As I mentioned, sustainability means the company is going to outlast us that are in it today. So we have to satisfy the company needs by having a great strategy, by having the right business development. So we have to make sure that the company has the future trajectory of success. We have to satisfy the customer. I've seen this the last number of months, and doesn't matter what industry it is, I do believe customer service has gone down in general. And everybody is stressed, everybody's fearful. But customer service, if we truly are satisfying customers, they will talk more about us. We will get more people to come back. So we have to ensure that the customer is loyal. We have to make sure they're satisfied in everything that we're doing. The third constituent is the team. Very similar to the customer. If we aren't satisfying the team, they're going to go work somewhere else. And I believe today there is a ton of fear from the employee standpoint. They might be wanting to look for a new job, but with COVID and all of the uncertainty of the future, they're fearful to look for that new job. So they have already quit, but they've stayed. So we have to make sure that our customers, the CEOs and executive teams, are ensuring that their teams are satisfied. The stakeholders, again, this could be the investors, the shareholders, it could be the board of directors, it could be the executive team, it could be the owner. We have to make sure that they're getting a return on investment. And the last constituent that every business should be satisfying is the community. Here's what I mean. When we are successful as an organization, I do believe this. It is our responsibility to ensure that the future of our community is strong. Well, how do we do that? It's going to be strong because we're supporting the growth of our business. We're adding employees. We are helping pay our taxes so we can support the school systems, all the public works. We're adding employees, so we're building new housing. We have to support the community. How are we volunteering to help the future of our communities? These constituents have to be satisfied to truly grow a business. Now, in a short term, we can satisfy 1 or 2 of these and make some money, but long term, it's not sustainable. All 5 need to be satisfied. So I want to share with you just a little graphic of the disciplines and the different steps and the constituents. I like to start at strategy and go around. We have this discipline of strategy and business development. We have people, execution, and mission. I want to be clear on mission. This is not about a mission statement. Mission statements are very 1980s management. Mission is about who we are and why we do what we do. And if you notice in this graphic that every discipline influences constituents. And so we have to satisfy each of these constituents by getting discipline into place. And when every discipline is working, that's when we start to add zeros. That's in every area of the business. So that is the model, the different components of the 5 disciplines. So we talked about a lot here in the last 45 minutes. We've talked about leadership and management. Again, leadership is creating passionate and focused people. Management creates competent and productive people. Both of them are needed more than ever today. We have to have routines and discipline around each of them. The disciplines that are needed right now, I do believe strategy is something that every one of us can be going to prospects and our clients and say, let's reevaluate our current strategy. Are we heading down the right path? Or even reevaluate our core customer in that business development discipline. We have to identify where can we maximize opportunities today, because the world is challenging. We have to adapt fast. And our role as a coach is to help our clients do that. So the third topic, I want to tell you a little bit of how you can learn more. And in order to do that, I want you to take action. Maybe there's one or two learnings you've already had that you want to share with your clients. I hope you do, and I hope they take action with it. And the other way of you to take action is to continue to learn. One way to learn is to, if you haven't read the book, Pulling Profits Out of a Hat, please do. USA Today, Wall Street Journal bestseller list. It's just an amazing resource guide. And I want you to think of it that way, as a resource guide in each of these 5 disciplines and 5 constituents in how to satisfy and fulfill and add zeros. So the third way I want to encourage you to learn more about the 5 disciplines is we are offering a one-day virtual training on the concepts in pulling profits out of a hat. It is 8:30 to 4:30 Eastern time here in the US on December the 4th. Now, if you commit by Friday the 20th of November, your price is $495. If after you register after the 20th, it goes to $595. We've charged $995 in the past, but we know with today's place of every business out there, we've lowered the price to $595 and $495 at these dates. You know, a couple things I want to add to that. During that one day, we go into each of the 5 disciplines and help you understand how they influence and work within an organization. Another way to go deeper into the 5 disciplines is we offer a 3- and 4-day certification to be a facilitator. So as you go through the deeper training, you will get greater tools and resources to help facilitate conversations and help facilitate planning sessions. You know, there's 2 phrases I want you to remember and start using. Number 1 is adding zeros. I want you to help add zeros to organizations. But the second phrase is strategic thinking, execution planning. As a certified facilitator, you get all of the tools to conduct strategic thinking, execution planning sessions. And what that does is they go deep into the 5 disciplines and they help you teach and help them make decisions, them being your clients. So our next class to become a certified advisor or facilitator is that first week of March, March 1 through 4 in 2021. Can't believe we're talking about next year already. But a couple things I want to reinforce. That one day of virtual training does include access to an online video series. It's $99 on the website, but by you joining for that one day, you get complimentary access to that. There's 22, 23 videos and some worksheets that you can utilize. So that's a powerful tool right there. The second piece, in preparation for the one-day training, we ask all attendees to complete a 5 disciplines assessment. And what that assessment does, it's got 10 questions for each assessment. And this gives you a little insight of how that tool can help identify needs that your clients can have. Because that assessment tool is the first part of opening the door to greater conversations of how the 5 disciplines can help every business out there. So mark your calendars for December 4th, register by Friday the 20th to get that price of $495, and let's go deep into that. One last thing, after that one day of virtual training, we will be awarding 1 scholarship. So I think it's not awarded till February 1st, but if you attend the one-day training, you have the opportunity to apply for a scholarship to attend the facilitator training. And it is a full scholarship. So you do need to attend the one-day virtual training to be able to apply for that scholarship, but that's going to be a powerful thing. We've already had 4 winners of the scholarship, and they're getting results immediately. So love to have you participate in that. So just a couple things to get you thinking as we close today. I love this phrase, and I want you to be challenging your clients and your prospects is, are you adding zeros or are you adding zero? We add zeros in every aspect of a business, not just revenue and profit, but we have to have engagement. We've got to have, morale has to be high. We have to touch every aspect because that's the only way growth is going to be sustainable long-term. So I know there's probably a lot of questions out there. Do know that this recording will be sent out to you. A link to the recording will be sent out so you can watch it again. I want to encourage you to think about how you can help with organizational development, organizational discipline, and executive development. You have to be equipped with the right tools to help your clients. And so want to leave you with, again, the opportunity to attend the one-day training on December 4th. And if you do have questions, please email us at info@addZerosNow.com, and feel free to register at areyouaddingzeros.com as well. Again, really appreciate everyone joining us today. We've got countries from all around the world represented, and just love being able to influence so many people with so many simple ways of thinking. And I want you to be having that big picture and abundant attitude of a leader in taking these tools and resources to help your CEOs and your executive teams. So thank you for joining us today. Hope you gained a lot of notes. Hope you've got identified a couple actions you can put into place. And I look forward to seeing you again on December 4th. Hope you guys have a great week. And I know it's starting to get cold here in Iowa, so winter is on its way, but I hope everyone is enjoying their week. Take care. Thank you.